bitter cold temperatures.
Watching News Channel 2 Weekend Today with Katrina Smith.
Welcome and good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday. It's January 13th. I'm Katrina Smith, meteorologist Eric Gage over in the Weather Center. First, though, we want to get you caught up on a few power outages, a few thousand in Oneida County. Actually, over 2,400 people are without power right now. Before 1 a.m., that was closer to 9,000 customers without power. Restoration time is this afternoon in Herkimer County, about 300 without power. Take a look at the map here. This showing where those outages are. There are a few up more to the north toward Old Forge as well, but you're seeing Forestport, Remsen, just north of Rome, Westernville, and by Camden as well. So we will be tracking those power outages for you throughout the day. For now, let's get over to the Weather Center with meteorologist Eric Gage. So our wintry weather is behind us at this point, or we have some more on the way?
Kind of. So the alert day, or the alert night, I should say, was for the strong winds that unfortunately caused those outages there.
And we heard those overnight. I was, as I was sleeping, I'm like, there's the wind.
So the winds are shifting more westerly, which even though they'll be strong, they won't be nearly as strong. So the risk for outages are going to be lower as the afternoon progresses. But we're talking about that winter weather that is making headlines across the country, and the heaviest snow won't be here locally. It'll be setting up in the Tug as well as out near Buffalo with that strong lake effect snow bands. And in fact, right now on the radar, it's actually raining. A single line of rain showers moving through Little Falls, St. Johnsville right now. And the bigger picture, we can see this broad area of very strong low pressure that caused those outages will still remain in this area over the weekend. And so although we'll be relatively clear from the heaviest of that snow, we'll still be in a windy weather pattern, and of course we can't rule out some lake effect snow from Lake Erie heading into tonight and early tomorrow. So for today, though, we're talking about rain showers. That'll switch over to snow as that cold air advects in from the west. Then after that, though, we are continuing to follow that strong lake effect snow band. Again, not sitting up in our area, but where it will set up, and it could impact possibly the game for Buffalo and the Steelers coming up. Back over to you.
And just as Eric said, in just a moment, you're going to hear from the governor with a warning for folks going to that football game. The entire nation, meantime, gripped with the wintry weather, whiteouts in the Midwest, along with dangerous cold temperatures and travel chaos nationwide. Maggie Vespa is caught in the middle of it in Chicago.
The brewing bomb cyclone already living up to its name and derailing travel plans coast to coast.
How wild is it to see delays and cancellations stack up that quickly?
I was shocked. We boarded twice and we got on the plane, we got off.
Whiteout conditions slamming the Midwest, dumping up to 2 inches of snow per hour and coating planes on this Omaha runway in ice. In Chicago, the storm forcing a temporary ground stop at O'Hare, funneling frustrated passengers into long customer service lines. Effects rippled quickly. Tonight, more than 6,000 flights delayed, more than 2,000 canceled nationwide. Among the stressed out travelers,
So you're just stuck here.
I'm stuck here.
Shash Savaram, whose plane from Florida was diverted, making her miss her connection to India to see family.
How stressed are you right now?
Extremely. I was excited to go meet my mom.
60 million Americans tonight remain under new winter weather alerts, 125 million under wind alerts. Roads across the Midwest also a mess. Here, visibility in Kansas practically down to 0. Wisconsin, meanwhile, slammed with more than 10 inches of snow and counting.
2 snowstorms back to back feels like a little much.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The storm now roaring east. New York's governor even urging Bills fans to avoid Sunday's playoff game against Pittsburgh.
We're anticipating at least 18 inches of snow. It's just better if you stay home and tune in on television. It'll be safer for all of us.
A plea for safety amid America's third severe winter system this week.
That was reporter Maggie Vespa. Here in the Mohawk Valley, crews were out prepping the roadways for winter weather that is to come. DOT reps say they are always ready for what Mother Nature doles out. This morning, in and around Clinton, Hamilton College will be testing the
WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Welcome back. Happy Saturday. We are dealing with some rain showers pushing through as a very strong low pressure moves north of our area. But some sunshine is peeking out between those thick low-level clouds. A live view of Oneonta. A beautiful shot right there, too, of the sun and the clouds right there. And as we turn our attention to the temperature, 43 degrees. This will likely be the warmest temperature we'll see here in central New York for the next 7 or so days as a much cooler weather pattern starts to move in. Currently 40 degrees at Griffiths and Rome with, again, cloudy skies, but behind it you can see some sun peeking out here and there. And again, the highs for today will be in the low to mid 40s. Cooling down throughout the afternoon as cool air begins to advect in from the west. Regarding those wind speeds, it will still remain on the slightly breezy side this morning. Winds pick up again this afternoon. Not as potentially damaging as what we saw last night, but still pretty windy out there with wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour. And regarding rain and snow chances, it will still remain relatively unsettled for today, but there will be a few breaks of dry weather here and there. The widespread rain and snow will not be present for today. Again, windy for today, windy for tomorrow. It's going to be a very windy weekend here in central New York as that strong low pressure still sticks just north of our area. And a little breezy for Monday and Tuesday, but again, the strongest winds do come to an end this weekend. And look at those wind speeds. You can see right here, 20 to even some cases up to high as 40 miles per hour on those hilltops and those darker purples right there. And still windy as you approach Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening with possible strong lake effect, not in our area, but just outside of Buffalo and Watertown. The bigger picture, broad area of very strong low pressure right up here. We're talking about near, if this was in the tropics, a tropical storm type strong low pressure. So thankfully we're not dealing with the impacts of tropical storm situations, but we'll deal with the stronger winds. As you can see here, a strong lake effect will start to set up right off the Great Lakes as we head into Sunday and Sunday evening. So live look at the radar right there. We can still see some rain showers pushing through. That rain switches back over to snow by this afternoon and this evening. Then overnight tonight, a lake effect band from Lake Erie could set up in some locations right here that could cause a stronger snow band. But most of the accumulations will generally stick north of our area, as you can see up near Tug Hill. And regarding the snowfall accumulations, well, in the I-90 area in the south, not going to see a whole lot of snow, but as you head up north, Tug Hill could see even more than 2 feet of snow by the end of this event. And so for today, scattered rain turning over to snow, high of 44, cooling down throughout the day. And as I mentioned before, say goodbye to those 40s. We were entering a very, I wouldn't say cold stretch. This is more typical of January standards, but again, we're not seeing those mild conditions anymore. In our trivia question, who was the first person to find the golden ticket?
I think it was, and I didn't look this up, I was just trying to go by my memory of the movie. I want to say it was Augustus Gloop.
And I feel like people who have watched it several times are probably screaming at their TV. I'm like, you better not get this wrong. Yes, it was Augustus Gloop. Yeah, and because I've watched the first one, I've watched the Willy Wonka, the Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
The original one just has that. I feel like it's still the better movie.
It's definitely, I think, the better. You know,
Gene Wilder played a fantastic.
I
Willy
feel like
Wonka.
it's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
I always go back to that one. So
Yep.
yeah. Thank you so much for the trivia. I'm so glad I got that one right. Whew. Thank you, Eric. Coming up, it's cold, flu, and welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another half hour of News Channel 2 Weekend Today. I'm Katrina Smith. I want to get you right over to the Weather Center with meteorologist Eric Gage. There's a lot of talk about the national weather right now and weather that's moving into western New York. We saw the heavy winds that knocked out power for thousands overnight in Oneida County and hundreds in Herkimer County, but that's over, and here in our area, we're not going to see all of this.
Yeah, not all of this, but as you head out to western New York, a different story.
Very.
If you're heading to the anticipated playoff game with the Steelers and the Bills, a heads up, it might be a little snowy, and by a little snowy, I'm talking about a heavy lake effect response right off of Lake Erie. Because of the warm and mild December, these lakes are still not frozen yet, which means that we can still get strong lake effect already into the later half of January, which usually by now the lakes, especially Lake Erie being the shallowest lake, is already starting to freeze over, so the lake effect response is usually a bit less. But as you can see, there are a bit of pinks and reds, indicating some locations seeing over a foot of snow and strong winds. So just a heads up, if you're heading out to to Orchard Park in western New York to watch the game, again, it could be a little snowy. Not sure if they might relocate it or anything just yet, but it'd be a good atmosphere, though, for some snowy football. I don't know about you.
Telling people they should stay home and watch it at home, but I know that park officials are offering to pay people to shovel the stadium.
I saw that. Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah. Now, here locally, we're dealing with some spotty rain showers, but think of it as like checking all the boxes with weather today. We've got mild conditions, sunshine peeking in between these rain showers. Behind this rain, we're talking about snow moving in, scattered snow showers, nothing heavy like we're seeing out in the western part of New York, but again, a mixed bag of weather for today. 40 with clouds and sun and rain and snow and pretty much everything for today as rain showers switch over to snow. Windy conditions this afternoon. Winds remain strong tomorrow. We're tracking the potential for a single isolated snow band that could reduce visibility overnight tonight. And then talking about where the heaviest snow sets up, at least close to our area in detail, coming up. Back to you, Katrina.
Thank you so much, Eric. And overseas, the world is watching as voters in Taiwan.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Very strong low pressure moves north and west of our area, and with it, a mixed bag of weather here in central New York for today. We're dealing with some rain showers this morning. In between those rain showers, we're seeing some sunshine here in downtown Utica right now, with temperatures very non-January-like at 41 degrees starting out the day as that warm air surged all the way from the Gulf into central New York. Southeast winds a bit on the calm side again, similar to what we saw Tuesday night and early Wednesday. We're in the eye of the storm, if you want to call it that. The winds will pick back up again as we approach the evening hours. With it, too, the temperatures will continue to fall. In the 40s till the mid to late morning, cooling down into the low 30s by this evening. And talking about those winds do pick up back up into the 15 mile per hour to 20 mile per hour sustained wind range, and then wind gusts up to 35 or so miles per hour. And it will remain windy for today as well as Sunday. That low pressure is still influencing our local weather for the entire weekend. Winds will be a little bit more calm on Monday and Tuesday, but again, the strongest winds will be for today and tomorrow. And then regarding those wind gusts, the purples indicate wind gusts between 35 and 45 miles per hour. And you can see some locations, especially on those hilltops, from those westerly winds, could see additional wind speeds up to that amount. But regarding power outage situations, this is more of a westerly wind, and so with strong westerly winds, our concern for outages aren't as high as local area trees and other debris and other buildings are typically situated for events like this. Live radar showing again that very strong low pressure north of us surging in that warm air, but you can see behind it that cold air will advect in from the west. And tracking this system over the next several hours, we can see it start to continue to move eastward, but we're seeing a very strong lake effect response move into parts of the areas just outside of the Great Lakes. And then live look at the Yorkville Battery live radar. Another round of rain will surge into our area after this brief lull in the rain with some sunshine this afternoon. Well, this morning, I should say. For this afternoon, though, the rain switches over slowly to snow as those temperatures continue to fall, monitoring the chance for an isolated lake effect snow band that could reduce visibility in portions of north of I-90 as this snow band continues to push northward. And then by Sunday, we're talking about a strong lake effect response near Watertown up north in the Tug, and then scattered snow showers everywhere south. And regarding the snowfall totals, we're not expecting a whole lot south of I-90, but as you head up in the North Country, you could be seeing a good amount of snow depending on where that snow band sets up. You can see up near the Tug, near 2 feet possible on those highest elevations. For today, high 44, cooling down throughout the afternoon as those temperatures fall into the 30s. Tonight, a low of 22 with scattered snow showers. 7-day forecast, we're monitoring a cooler weather pattern ending the next several days with highs only in the 20s, so say goodbye to 40-degree temperatures. And our trivia question, the first Boilermaker held in 1978 had a budget of what?
Well, I had a little help from someone on the inside, so D, 750. I'm pretty sure of that, too.
Well, could you imagine if I said this answer and tried to claim it was right and your inside source is like, nope, it's actually wrong.
Yeah. Eric said, is it one of my answers? When I said I got a little help?
$750. That's insane for the Boilermaker, which now is one of the largest in the country.
I can't even imagine what the budget is today, right?
Yeah, ask your source that.
I'll ask her what that is. Thank you so much, Eric, and we'll be back after this.
Watching News Channel 2 Weekend with Ben Kinney.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Mason. Ben has the night off. Thank you for joining us tonight. Western New York is in for a lot of snow overnight. If you're wondering what we'll see of that, then I know just the man to let you know. It's time now for a first look at the forecast tonight at 11.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, everyone. We are tracking some heavy lake effect snow that's expected to fall across the North Country tonight, tomorrow night into early Monday. There are winter storm warnings in effect for Lewis, northern Herkimer, and Hamilton counties. Again, this is predominantly from lake effect snow, along with some strong winds, which will cause visibility to drop quite a bit in those bands of lake effect snow. Expecting accumulation to fall almost entirely north over the next 36 hours. A trace to 2 inches of snow expected in the Mohawk and Southern Valleys. Brief bursts of snow tomorrow for many of us, but again, the heaviest snow, the Tug Hill, the western Adirondacks, 6 to 12 inches. Speculator, Old Forge, Boonville, and into the Tug Hill. We're talking about snowfall that will likely be measured in feet by the time all is said and done. Strong winds today. Wind gusts 50 miles an hour in Brookfield, Colebrook. Wind gusts over 40 miles an hour in Old Forge. Tonight, tracking snow showers. Again, the heaviest snow looks to stay north. We're all going to be dealing with the cold weather here over the next couple of days. I'm going to look at the forecast coming up. Mark, back to you.
All right, thank you, Bill. Governor Kathy Hochul is calling tonight's storm the most dangerous winter storm conditions since the Christmas.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. An Arctic front arrives tomorrow, and that's going to set the stage for chilly weather here throughout the week. Temperatures generally in the 20s and teens, and the wind chills will be much colder than that. The other story is the lake effect snow, and that's where we're going to start tonight with a southwest wind. Northern and western New York expected to get buried and heavy lake effect snow. These regions expecting 1 to 2 feet of snowfall. The Tug Hill out towards the Buffalo area. The winds are generally from the southwest, so the heaviest snowfall is expected to miss the Mohawk Valley. We're going to be seeing plenty of wind here that continues into the second half of the weekend. Again, we saw wind gusts today up to 50 miles an hour. Not quite that strong tomorrow, but it is going to be a windy day. Let's look at wind gusts at 10 o'clock in the morning. The winds from the west, southwest, gusting between about 30 to 35 miles an hour. Could see wind gusts as high as 40 miles an hour throughout the day. The winds do become later into Monday. Combine that with temperatures in the 20s, and it's going to feel like teens and single digits throughout most of Sunday. This is a look at the wind chill. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see the numbers here in the single digits. Again, that's what it feels like. And it gets colder on Monday with the wind chill. Looks like lots of places will feel like sub-zero, between about 5 below zero to as much as 10 below zero heading into the Adirondacks. So bundle up if you're going to be spending time outdoors over the next several days. We're tracking that lake effect snow. Again, the general wind direction is going to keep the heaviest bands to the north, but occasionally those snow showers will move into the North Country at times, especially tomorrow night. Quick burst of snow across the region tonight. Again, we're tracking bands off of Lake Erie. But again, with the winds turning southwesterly, the snow generally lifts to the north tomorrow morning. An Arctic front arrives, and that does bring a burst of snow to the area here during the late morning to early afternoon, but it doesn't last for very long. and it gets colder throughout the day. Temperatures fall into the low 20s. Heavy lake effect snow moves in across the North Country tomorrow night, and that's generally where it stays, towards Boonville and Old Forge. It lifts to the north again as we head into Monday as winds turn into the southwest. Monday looks like a cold and generally dry day across the Mohawk Valley. Snowfall, again, a big difference based on location. The Mohawk and Southern Valleys, a trace to 2 inches of snow expected, but then you work your way up towards the Tug Hill. 1 to as much as 3 feet of snow is expected. Again, this takes us through Monday morning. Tonight, snow showers, a low of 24. Tomorrow, snow showers, a high of 28. Again, watch out traveling to the north and west. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Looking dry on Monday, 22 for the high. Snow showers Tuesday, 23. And it remains cold throughout the week with some lake effect snow chances on Thursday and Friday.